78% of Canadian businesses think AI is irrelevant, according to a news survey from StatsCan. This is pretty much in complete contradiction to the direction that Ottawa wants to take with AI. They literally want to accelerate AI adoption for Canadians, Canadian businesses, organizations, associations. Yet, a very alarming survey came out just recently talking about the different reasons why AI is not being adopted by Canadians. And it's, I would say, a little bit frightening here just because we have a uh, economic borderline crisis on our hands, and productivity is plummeting in this country. It's quite obvious, and we have business owners resisting what would be the most productive technology ever conceived in humanity. So we're going to go through it a little bit here. You can find this article on peakdemand.ca. But I'm, you know, a stat like this came out a couple years ago, and my initial reaction was, business owners, they still haven't acclimated to the new technology, so it's going to take at least some demonstrations or some examples of it working well for them to adopt. And in the last few years, we've seen a roaring amount of AI use cases being adopted globally. And the US is now investing quite literally trillions of dollars into AI infrastructure and development, as well as even trying to nurture young people to adopt and learn this technology in their education systems. And this is like, the US is like going down to the level of trying to make sure their kids are prepared for a future of AI. Yet, north of their border in Canada, we have a large majority of business owners, leaders who would be shaping the infrastructure of our country, just flat out refusing to look at the technology. I gotta say, as an AI agency, a Canadian AI agency, like we're front lines. We do demos with Canadians. Well, when we were marketing to Canadians a couple of years ago, we did hundreds of demos, and I think of that, maybe a handful considered a proof of concept, but there was no widespread adoption. Canadians were amazingly resistant. Our first customers were in the U.S., and then we got a couple of good enough customers where we can start a business, have runway to develop, do marketing. But generally, all Canadians were saying no. And being on the front lines and seeing the adoption rate for Canadians versus US, we're getting more US customers, 3-4 years in, than we are Canadians. And we're a Canadian team. We try our best to accommodate Canadians, make it very simple, very easy to understand. But I really do believe that it is the lack of a tech industry in this country that has made Canadian decision makers so aversive to tech, where they could be looking at the most powerful technology ever conceived in humanity and say, this is not relevant to my business. That's the only thing I can think of. But we're going to get into the details a little bit. If you're seeing this on YouTube, if you like and subscribe, if you find what you're listening to be helpful or informative. We're trying to go for 100 subscribers, so it's exciting. I think we're at like 70, 75 right now, but we're just trying to share the story of AI adoption in Canada. Hopefully people who aren't adopting are seeing this and going, hey, maybe this guy talking on YouTube has a good idea about using AI. I mean, he does have an AI company. Maybe I should listen to him. Or you can say, you know what, this guy's an AI shill. He's just trying to sell me some doodads and knickknacks that I don't really need for my business. We get a lot of that too. But let's trudge on here. So, Canadian AI adoption, 78% of business owners say that AI is not relevant. At the same time as this survey comes out, we're literally getting words from the AI minister in Ottawa saying that our productivity is lagging and we need to accelerate adoption. So, that disconnect between the government saying that we need to adopt AI faster, and then the people who live here and run the businesses and basically prop up the economy are saying no, it's not relevant to us. I could understand why young people are a little bit concerned or borderline upset with the behavior of some of the older generations. I can understand that. Like for me growing up, getting into tech was extremely difficult. I had to take Google certifications. I had to do my own self study for years before I was even considered to be competent enough for a sales role, just a sales role. Lo and behold, when I get into that environment, I'm smashing records and crushing everyone in terms of numbers. Didn't get along with management because they have their own ideas about things, and I can tell that same sentiment. Like you'll have young people who are good at tech, might be good at sales, not getting along with their managers or business owners. It's really looking like business owners might be out of tune with what the trends of humanity are saying about technology, especially in Canada. So, if you're a business owner and you're a little bit an older demographic and you've been saying no to your young people on technology, you should reconsider that. Ottawa's literally telling you to do so. So 78.1% of Canadian non-adopters say AI is not relevant to their business. Oh my gosh. AI is relevant to every business operation or workflow you can possibly conceive. So for us to be saying something like that is alarming. Ottawa has created a Ministry of Artificial Intelligence and Digital Innovation to accelerate adoption and competitiveness. And you can see some of the images that we created for this article. It's like, here's the government saying, use AI more. And then business owners are saying, no. It's honestly like, I feel like I'm in a strong position because once that flip switches, I'll be able to go to my guys and say, hey, now everyone's coming in for AI and they're, the feeling of defeat is taken them, their resistance to this technology is done, let's just start building more automations. So I feel like I'm well positioned for that. But most people are so disattached from technology and its evolution that they're going to need to race to catch up as business owners. So I've had to bear the brunt of not having technology be a very prioritized conversation in Canada for 10, 15 years. Everyone telling me, oh, well, you work on the computer so much, Alex. Why are you on the computer so much? Well, the rest of the world is literally being digitized and technology is moving at warp speed. So I want to sort of align myself with that. A lot of my peers, even the university, and after that, they're like, you're in a bad industry. Tech, tech in Canada was bad. I will admit, but the wherewithal, the discipline that you employ, you're able to survive and then get to a point where now the government's literally saying, hey, this one guy that you said, was a little bit out in the weeds with his ideas. You sort of have to do what he's doing. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited for our team. But if you're a business owner and yet you're slow to adopt technology, like you're going to be one of these people who are just going to be outcompeted by global forces here. So Canada's per capita GDP and productivity are sliding while the US grows because US firms are rewiring workflows with AI, even if they're not perfect. And that's the one thing that we got to just drop. AI doesn't need to be perfect. When the internet first came out, it wasn't perfect. Your website wasn't perfect. Your systems and CRMs aren't perfect. Why are we putting such an onus on artificial intelligence to be perfect when the amount of work it does is absolutely phenomenal? It doesn't make any sense. So the wake up call is basically what Canadians just told StatCan is that U.S. businesses, they're doing great. They're adopting AI. Their GDP is quite literally moving in tandem with their AI investment. So for every dollar invested AI, they have a literal output of increase in GDP, which is great. That should be how it works. Canadian businesses at the same time saying, "Oh no, AI is not relevant to us. It's not relevant to our business." Well, what business do you have that AI could not possibly be relevant? That's my next question. And most of the times when you ask business owners that, they say, "Oh well, AI doesn't know real estate. AI doesn't know anything about contracting." AI knows a little bit about everything. Do you know a little bit about everything? I think there's a point of pride here with Canadian business owners. Like, I'm a Canadian business owner. I can tell you, I'm probably the most humbled man you'll ever see on YouTube, just because of how much difficulty I've faced in the last decade for this business. But I will say that knowing that um, the horizon for my business is great, amazing. There's all sorts of people coming to us asking for AI workflows and automation integrations and stuff like that. Canadian business owners, on the other hand, though, not doing too well right now. So I'm really waiting for this breakaway point where people are just thinking to themselves, I've been thinking the wrong way for quite some time. I need to change how I think, because I've been having to change my frame of thought, my even the disciplines that I know. I've had to dive into other industries and learn quite a bit in order for this business to work. Now it's working. Now I can pay Canadians, literally pay and employ Canadians that can, feed their families, pay their mortgages. So like, all the noise of people saying, "Oh, it's not relevant to me," or it's AI's a fad. All that stuff is just out in the wash for me, because what my team is doing is we're being productive. We're creating economic opportunity, so to speak. So I really hope that these Canadian businesses that are saying that AI is not relevant, they change their tune, or the people that work for them and work with them are gonna have a hard time. So survey snapshot was Q3 2025. Only a small minority plan to use AI in the next 12 months. A clear majority have no plans. And among the non-adopters, the number one reason is not relevant, guys. Insane. So this is not a cost or not skills, it's relevance. So that should set off alarms, because relevance is exactly where AI is winning across routine, repeatable work. Where adopters actually start. The planned use cases aren't exotic R&D. They're horizontal functions that every company has to employ. So someone's answering the phone for your business, virtual voice agents. You've got a whole bunch of data sets and information on your business, run analytics co-pilots. You need to draft emails, proposals, or literally any written content whatsoever. Use LLMs. Like, it's not like this is not something that your business looks at like, oh yeah, we have a website now. It's, oh yeah, our business is using the internet. Oh yeah, our business is using electricity. Oh yeah, our business is using AI. AI is an infrastructural layer of business. It's not something that you tack on, it's something that you fuse in. So I do, and you can tell I'm a little passionate about this. I really, really do implore Canadian business owners, you guys have to do better for the people that work for you, but also young people who are supposed to be excited about getting into the workplace. If they realize that you guys haven't updated your website in 15 years and don't have any plans to adopt AI in the next 5, do you think young, talented people are going to want to work for your business? Do you think that your business is going to have a position in the global arena, which we are all moving towards? So I do really implore business owners to ask themselves these questions, especially in Canada. You might not know tech. Go reach out to an AI agency that can help. Doesn't have to be peak demand. Anyone you know that's saying that they know AI, have a conversation with them to start. When you want to have a more technical conversation where we can actually roadmap implementations for your organization, then you can schedule a discovery call with us. But just talk about it. Chat with large language models, OpenAI, ChatGPT. Just start somewhere. You have to. So why not relevant is the most dangerous answer you can give to a survey like that. Calling AI not relevant does 3 kinds of damage. It freezes process change. If leaders misframe AI as a new product line instead of operations infrastructure, they never audit the workflows where the gains live: inbound calls, scheduling, collection, and documentation. Number 2, it compounds the productivity gap. Every month without AI in the core workflows pays a relevance tax, lost time, slower quotes, higher abandonment, and lower utilization that competitors are already clawing back. See here, a nice, cute little Canadian snail chained to the sentiment of not relevant, while AI growth is achieved through this bubble here, or this balloon. It disguises, and the third one is it disguises capability as preference. So when people say too costly, or we don't have the skills for it, these can be easily solved with scope pilots, training hours, vendor templates. When you say it's not relevant, you end the conversation before it even begins, because it's literally just a mindset gap. And this is something that I sort of thought was real when I was starting in my digital journey, 10, 15 years ago, trying to help Canadian business owners with their digital operations. And the feedback most of the time I got, you're a scammer, you're a liar, we don't need that. Our business doesn't need that. Like, it was just like knocking on Canadians' doors was the equivalent of like, trying to break into their house when it comes to trying to get them a website. Like, people just didn't want to talk to you at all, didn't even want to entertain the idea. And that's paying, and Canadians are paying a profound price for that, because we just don't have technology woven into our operations as much as the rest of the developed world. And because of that, the leap towards something as technical as AI workflows being infused into your operations, it's so vast a thought for Canadian business owners. They're literally just selling it. It's not relevant. That's just like saying, oh, well, I can't see oxygen. It's not relevant to me. It's, the idea is as far fetched as you can believe. So this is Ottawa right now. Literally the federal government's pointing at AI and saying, you guys have to do this. You literally have to do this if you're a business in Canada. Canadians are going, it's not relevant. It's really mind-boggling. So what Ottawa is doing right now, the new federal mandate is unapologetically pro-adoption, accelerate adoption across public services and private sector, build Canadian compute and core infrastructure to lower barriers for AI workloads, modernize guardrails, privacy, consent, auditability, so pilots don't stall on compliance theater, and speed small, medium enterprise pilots with incentives, templates, and procurement pathways that reward measurable outcomes. So, I mean, they're trying their best, man. The Canadian government, I really do believe, a lot of it's optics, but for this particular topic of conversation, like they're trying to, it's like trying to tell your cousin who's the most dense person in your family, who doesn't listen to anyone, to say, hey, you really got to stop what you're doing, or you got to start doing something. You got to get a job. You got to do something. And they just completely ignore everyone. They're just the pariah of the family. They're not listening to anyone's advice, and generally they're hurting themselves, even unbeknownst to them. And so we're at a point now where our Canadian business owners are like your disenfranchised cousin, where you just got to just smack them around a little bit, get them to wake up and look at what the rest of the world is doing, before he ends up hurting himself. So the contradiction is that we have a policy tailwind, but inside too many boardrooms, executives still say AI is not relevant. Ottawa is pressing the gas while Main Street rides the brake. That gap turns national strategy into zero lift. So you can see business owners are closing their eyes, plugging their ears towards the literal mandate coming from the federal government, saying, I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for the moment that federal government, Ottawa, either picks up a speakerphone, says, hey, everyone, here's your AI stuff. Go do AI, great. Or they're literally sounding the alarm. Holy shit, we are behind on AI adoption. You guys got to do something. I'm happy. I'm sitting back here very, very comfortable, waiting for the sentiment or the mentality of Canadian business owners to finally acclimate towards this technology. And you might be watching me here as a Canadian business owner. Yeah, I don't like this guy. He's telling me that I'm wrong, or he's telling me that I should be doing something that I'm not. Sorry, like, oh well, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, but this is one of the most momentous, I would say, technological transformations that humanity will ever see. And I'm not concerned about the feelings of Canadian business owners when it comes to that resistance. I'm concerned about the Canadian business owners who want to see their business remain competitive, but also pave a path for young people to want to join their business. So for me, if you're a business owner and you're seeing me online, and you're thinking, well, that guy has an attitude, or that guy is a know-it-all. I try to know as much as possible for my clients, for my colleagues. So if you want to share in some of this knowledge, book a discovery call, no problem. We're more than happy to. And that's the thing, when we find adopters, we give you guys big hugs and kisses, because you really are the trailblazers and pioneers for our future economy, and you are very much appreciated for that. Anyone who comes in here saying, "Oh well, all the AI guys are saying the same thing. We don't want to pay that much," and it's just like, well, if all the AI guys are saying the same thing and you don't want to pay them, go try the foreign workers program that's been working out so well for Canadians. Maybe a couple cheap hires will be better than a machine that's competent enough to talk about pretty much anything. So what this really reveals is the blocker isn't regulation or tools, it's literally leadership conviction. And I'm actually glad that this survey showed this, because the same numbers came out for the 2024 survey. AI not relevant to our business. I think it was almost the exact same yield on the survey. Again, 2025. It's confirmed that this is a mentality issue with Canadian business owners. It's not having to do with technological efficacy, how well the AI works, or how bad it is, or what regulation is doing, or what Ottawa is doing about regulation. It's literally just the mentality of business owners, which means there's a big opportunity for change. And I really do believe that sharing this information is going to help some business owners just make that change. So if owners won't audit sales, service, scheduling, dispatch, collections, and documentation for AI leverage, no amount of policy is going to help. So if you're a business owner, you're waiting for Ottawa to do something. They literally are. They're telling you to adopt, and if that's still not going to move you, if you're the way your business is working, and if you're doing well, great. If you're not, you might want to reconsider. Canada versus U.S. adoption reality and the economy. U.S. economy taking off, Canadian economy delayed indefinitely. And AI generated that image, and I believe it's true. I believe that if we don't adopt this speed of production that is powered by AI, our GDP is just going to continue to bleed. The irony is just so palpable for me, especially because I've been told, most of my younger years that what I was doing was, not relevant to the business owners of Canada. Meanwhile, I get customers in the UK, the United States, and so on. And now it's literally come down to the government saying the same. So, I really do hope there's business owners out there that's watching this who can, hear the conviction in my voice and say, like, you guys got to do something. I hope if you feel like if you don't want to do anything, you just want to wrap up your business, sell it, no problem. Whoever buys your business is going to completely strip it down and inject AI into it. That's the bottom line. So regardless of whether it's you or the person after you, it's going to happen. The U.S. pulse, overall AI keeps broadening. Yes, some large enterprises wobble quarter to quarter on reported usage or ROI, but underneath the headlines, teams are rewiring workflows, contact center, finance ops, marketing ops, forecasting, internal knowledge. So value keeps compounding even when pilots aren't perfect. And that's the thing. Pilots are never going to be perfect. These AI workflow operations, they're never going to be perfect. And I mean, if they do get perfect at some point, I'm sorry. I was wrong. But let's compare that to human beings. Are human beings perfect? Are the workflow operations that your human beings are carrying out, are they perfect? And we pay far more for salaries for menial tasks than it would cost to have an AI implementation. At the same time, an entire world of opportunity for jobs is exploding. Like the guys that work with me, they had no AI background, no development background at all. After some training, and I will tell you right now, the training with me is not the nicest. But after training, they're able to put together workflow automations powered by AI, do API calls to and fro. Like they're working in Python. I don't even think these guys knew what Python language was before they started working with me. But I can tell you, this environment creates opportunity. It creates jobs. So don't discount it as, oh, it's going to take jobs, it's going to do this and that. Well, it's creating work. So our macro picture right now is that our per capita GDP is sliding and our productivity is stagnant. That's exactly the terrain where AI-driven cycle time cuts, higher first contact resolution, and better scheduling, forecasting should be pulling its weight if firms were deploying them at scale. So like we're literally just seeing a lack of deployment or implementation across the board, and it's slowing down our productivity growth. The U.S. macro backdrop is that real GDP is growing, giving companies confidence to keep investing in process change. Even when the governance noise and model churn, managers are moving ahead with ops first integration because they see measurable lifts in weeks. Literally weeks, you'll see a change in your business, not years. Like where you hire a couple people and you think, oh, my business will change over the next couple of years because I hired 2 people. or you implement 2 or 3 workflows powered by AI, you're going to see changes in weeks. What this means is the US isn't winning because it likes AI more. It's winning because it ships workflow changes while Canada is arguing about relevance. American teams are shortening queues, speeding quotes, reducing no-shows, and closing the loop on follow-ups. Output follows operations. So they're just changing the way their businesses operate, and it's making them go faster. It's just bottom line. And it's so funny because people are going to see me talk about this. They're going to see me in shorts talking about this stuff, saying, Canadians are slow to adopt, Canadian business owners need to do this, need to do that. And they're just going to completely dismiss me. And that's fine. No problem. I understand and know and how it feels to be dismissed for years. But then at the same time, I also know what it means to feel like you're right after being doubted for so long. And that's why I do feel humbled in this moment, because it takes a certain level of humility to say, like, you, Alex, you're right. You were right this whole time. People are coming, people are finding you on ChatGPT, finding your team on ChatGPT, getting work done. Like, it's a dream, but a dream made a nightmare, so to speak. But I really do believe that we're going to see like huge spikes of adoption once the dam of resistance breaks, that mental dam where Canadians are like, okay, fine, like, let's just do it. Let's just do something. The reason why a lot of things don't get done is because that Canadian business owners just don't understand what they're looking at. It's like, oh, it's another fad. Oh, it's another this. I've been around long enough to know when things are going to come and go. AI is not going. If anything, you're going to be going because AI is going to replace you. That's just it's an inevitability. It's like I should put a little cut of Thanos in here, going, "I am inevitable." It's AI is inevitable. You literally just have to work with it. The relevance tax, how Canadian firms are quietly paying for inaction. I mean, your opportunity costs. The lack of lift in your business. Pretty easy. I want to pump the brakes here on this section and say, who's holding the brakes? Who's making sure, who's not doing what they're supposed to do, basically. And it's the generational adoption gap. Ownership reality in Canada, business owners are skewed towards the older generations, and they are the most persistent with resistance to AI. And this is in the age group from 45 to 64. Now, I will say that some of our best clients are older business owners who recognize change. They don't even fight us on operations, any sort of workflow design. They're just like, these guys are doing it, take my money. So for me, if you're in an older generation, you're in that older cohort, and you recognize the value of AI and see, like, hey, like, this young guy, I might not know everything he's talking about technically, but I can see that he's passionate, and he keeps on making these videos nonstop. Maybe he's onto something here. And we get found by them. And those adopters are the strongest because they have the experience of being in an older cohort, but they're also uh, less likely to fight you on or fight us on our designs or our workflow or operation stuff. They're more open to it. It's like, oh wow, these people are really like actually open to what's working. It's great. We can go faster, and then they tend to see the results the most. We got a couple. We got a couple of older gentlemen that we're working for right now, and I gotta say, like, they're some of my favorite clients because they're bringing that old school mentality to the new school game. It's like you know that you need to do something. You might not necessarily know exactly what you need to do, but you're gonna hire someone who's smarter and better and faster and stronger to do it, so that you can continue moving. And I really believe that business, like, I'm not the smartest guy. I want to hire people who are smarter than me so my business can be better than it would have just been if I were to do it. And that type of mentality, some of the older generations that we have coming in here looking for AI automations, when you have that, you're a real trailblazer amongst your cohort. So, congrats on you 100%. I want to showcase some of you guys. The experience that built the firm. Let me see what I left. Still trust muscle memory more than measurable pilots. That experience built the firm. It's also now what's blocking the next efficiency curve. So people, if you're a business owner, you're older, you think how things have been done for a long time. You don't really want to change. No problem. The rest of the world's going to change without you. If you are someone who recognizes that you need to change and you do, make that leap, you're a real huge winner. most of the time. Governance theater versus delivery. Too many leadership teams are over-indexing on risk memos, talking about privacy, security, consent, AI image generation, AI, videos that are hurting feelings. Like all this stuff is just noise, guys. Get down to the brass tacks, workflow operations. Under indexing on pilots, so like not talking about how to see improvements in KPI, not talking about how generative AI can help with the content machine for your business. You guys are just looking at the wrong things. Operational symptoms you can spot: quarterly talking about responsible AI, zero weekly KPI reviews from actual workflows, pilots stuck at behind procurement gauntlets. We get that a lot. Like people are just like, "Oh, how much does this stuff cost?" It's like, well, it takes us a while to do stuff, test stuff, and it's pretty difficult to learn this stuff. So we do need to get paid something. Some people come in here and think we're going to give them AI for free. I'm like, you must be kidding me. We just broke our backs for the last 3 years learning this technology. But again, like what the $50 website builders have literally given a perception of tech in Canada where it's like, oh, you're going to build me an AI operation? I don't want to pay. Like, we hear the darndest things from Canadians on AI. The hard truth is, if you're steering your business and you're calling AI irrelevant, you are the risk. It's not the regulators. Regulators are increasingly enabling responsible trials. Leadership disbelief is what's keeping AI automations from being implemented. So people getting stuck on hold without voice agents. No voice agents are creating quotes automatically, and you don't have a generative agents building reports. So what decisive leadership looks like, and this is any age, you're greenlighting scoped pilots, you're allocating training hours, you're making decisions within weeks, and you're keeping governance light but realistic. You're not getting too into the weeds with regulation. There is no AI regulation right now, guys. It's like literally open field. You can do whatever you want. Us as an AI agency has to take the responsibility of saying no to some people because they want to employ automations that might be harmful. So we have to say no. But for you guys, if you're a sophisticated business owner, you have a measured mind and a measured head, and you looking for a team that can implement very low risk, very very low risk but high effective workflow operations, schedule a call with us. We'll see what you got. Some of the viral narratives that are keeping Canadians hesitant: AI will take jobs. We hear this every day, like literally every single day. AI will replace workflows and it'll create careers, more like it. AI winter is here. People think that AI didn't have the big blast off that everyone wanted when it started, so they thought it was broken and never coming back. Sure, you can say we're in a winter. When summertime comes, it's going to be great. We tried a bot in 2020, didn't work. I would say AI technology advances faster than any other technology in history. So what you saw 5 years ago is probably like 50 years ago in terms of development. Try again, try again, try again, try again. That's what I tell my guys. API integration not working? Try again. Workflow automation is not sharp enough? Try again. That's the world of AI. Iteration basically means try again. AI is a threat to human safety. I would say a lack of knowledge around technology is a threat to human safety. Privacy, data make AI unusable. Data security make AI unusable. Some of the most advanced encryption systems are being employed to manage the flow of data through these systems that AI is woven into. So again, old school mentality, data residency, data sovereignty. We want to be in control. You open up your Microsoft or Google email account, you'd be giving up control to the machine. So let's get really serious. We can talk about sectors a little bit. I actually don't want to go too far along, but healthcare, trades and HVAC, manufacturing, hospitality, municipalities, all you guys really need to go faster with adoption. Bottom line is you haven't done enough in the last 3 years. The reality check is, when did a hold time missed call or a late quote cost you a customer? Are you tracking performance like it's 2015? Are you preparing your business for the next generation? What's harder to defend, the small cost of a 30-day pilot or telling your entire team and your customers that you let competitors beat you on speed and service because you simply said that AI was not relevant. We're making those choices now, and it's so funny because my parents are much older. My father's 85, and his level of urgency for anything technology is zero. Like, he doesn't care. Like, I really do believe a lot of this is older generations are just simply checked out. Like, they have a business, they run a business, they own a business, but really the legacy that they would leave behind with their businesses, that's what might be irrelevant to them, because AI is so new. It's such a large um, gap in terms of knowledge to get towards. I suspect a lot of older business owners are just like, not my time. I was a little too early for this, and they're just not doing it. The only problem with that is, if all business owners are thinking like that, 78% is a large majority. Young people are basically discounted. Like, young people aren't racing to join businesses that are operating like it's 1980s. They're looking for tech businesses, AI agencies. Like, we really want to start thinking, how can I set us up for the long term, but also how can I set us up where talent is attracted to our operation? And that's going to give you a better business. It's going to make more money. And if you care about things like legacy and what your name means, I know I do. I want people 50 years from now to go back into the archives of YouTube, find this video, and be like, this guy was actually trying. Most Canadians were telling him no, or telling him that they didn't think the AI was relevant, and he was still, banging his head against a brick wall like an idiot. But I do suspect in 5 years, that all these videos will really, be valuable for our visibility. So I don't mind. Like, the amount of negative comments that we get on the shorts from Canadians on. I got Canadians telling me I'm not a Canadian, um, or that I'm stupid, or AI is stupid, or someone just commented saying that I smell. I mean, if my smell's coming through the screen, my apologies. But you're going to have resistance in any belief that you have. You're going to have people that are trying to hold you back or pull you down. It really is on you to weather the storm and have the wherewithal to push through that. And I'm really thankful that at least I have that enough to make it to this point. So, bring on the haters, so to speak. Um, if you want, you can take a look at a 30-day challenge. What adoption would look like in your operation. You're essentially trying to find choke points where you're having leakage or spillage in your workflow, like missed phone calls, putting people on hold. Oh my gosh, the amount of clinics, when we did our healthcare campaign trying to get Canadian clinics on board, we got a few of them, which is great, but we got more Americans. But the big thing was, we couldn't even get anyone on the phone at these clinics. Like, if you call a Canadian clinic and you get someone on the phone, you consider yourself lucky, because we have literally I think we try to call the majority of clinics in like Ontario and stuff like that. Most of the time, no one would answer, or there'd be a message on the machine saying, "Hey, leave us a message. We'll get back to you in the next few days." It's like, really? We are leaving people that are calling Canadian clinics for a few days, and we're supposed to have like a giga healthcare economy here. Speed to lead, meaning literally absolutely nothing to some of these clinic owners. But you try your best to help them. You reach out to them, and they'll give you so much resistance. We have the most success with people who find us through ChatGPT. So they're already AI familiar. They're already literally speaking to AI. AI suggests peak demand as the agency to go to for their operations. Those people tend to get on board the easiest, and that's why we continue to do what we do. Just a little bit on federal government. Ottawa is betting AI. Are you betting against your own future? So Ottawa has literally built a ministry to accelerate adoption. So why are you saying still the AI is not relevant? If national policy is moving to fast track AI, not relevant reads less like prudence and more like willful denial. If government treats AI as a national priority, you can afford to ignore it in your. Can you afford to ignore it in your own business? Essentially, if the government is making it a priority, a national priority to adopt this technology, do you think as a business owner that you can afford to ignore it? Is basically the question. Uh, And then some notes on if the country is preparing for the next economy. Why is your firm still running like it's a previous economy that worked in a different way? So I'll wrap it up here, but I really do got to say, like, if you're a business owner and you've been around for a while and you haven't made any drastic changes to the business, hand the business off to someone who's going to do it, or do it yourself. Because the way that businesses in Canada have been operating up until now, it doesn't work anymore. Like this today, it's literally Saturday at 2 p.m. I started working today at maybe 9:30, 10 o'clock. I'm probably going to do a couple more hours later on tonight. I work on weekends. Saturday, Sunday, it's like Monday, Tuesday for me. It doesn't matter. That's the mentality or the discipline that I've had to employ for a very long time just to make it to this point. Is that efficient? I probably could be a little bit more efficient. I have like 4 or 5 AI terminals open at every given moment, so I'm highly productive, and we see traction because of it. Now, as a business owner, are you just trying to fill a little receptionist role with someone who's going to get paid whatever minimum wage is now, $17, $20 an hour? They might do a good job, quit in 3, 6 months, and you might end up spending more than you got out of it. Or are you going to schedule a discovery call and get a voice AI agent that you can literally sell with the business, because all of your administrative operations are already covered? These people don't have to get rehired, retrained, or anything like that. They can work on something more important. Ask yourself these questions if you care. You might be a business owner or an older generation, and you're just like, I don't care. I don't care about young people. I had a hard time when I was young. Let them have a hard time. That might be your mentality too. But someone has to pull the trigger on something at some point. The government's trying to tell you guys to do something. I'm here begging you to do something for the sake of our young people. And even if you don't like how we're coming off or how I'm coming off, and maybe I'm a little bit more too truthful or too real for you, no problem. There's other AI agencies out there who will spin it up for you real nice and make everything look pretty. We don't do that, because this is not a pretty environment. It's highly technical, very difficult, and requires a lot of foresight and planning. And so I really do like the clients that do work with us, because they recognize that, and they think this is a steady trot towards adoption in their workflows, instead of sprinting towards something they might trip and fall and say, oh, AI doesn't work. And there's a whole other world of the adoption curve for humans and how we process adoption that I don't want to get into on this video, maybe another one, but just know slow and steady will win you this race. So here's some objections. Our customers want humans. We don't have skills. We'll wait for regulation. All of this stuff is just noise now. Like, it literally is like water off a duck's back at this point. Some success plans, what it looks like after 90 days. In our position is, every business is a living story. I really like how this was written. Some chapters are written in long nights and older teens. The next ones will be written with new tools and quieter efforts. Whether you're a small shop, a growing mid-market team, a transit system keeping a city moving, or a public service caring for citizens, we're here to help you take the next gentle step, because it's toes in the water. Put your toes in the water of AI. Get used to it. Acclimate towards it. Eventually, it's going to be everywhere, but you want to do toes in the water experience, because we believe AI isn't about replacing people. We're not actively out here trying to replace. We're trying to make operations better. Hell, some of the people that we try and help, they don't have anyone answering the phones. So they're not even hiring a receptionist. So we're like, can we just get you something to answer your phone for your business? There was one demo we did with one guy. He didn't have anyone to answer the phone. He didn't want an agent. He wanted to do all of his business all by himself, both answering the phones and carrying out the business. It was a clinic owner. We tried calling him back a few weeks ago. Business is done. AI isn't about replacing people. It's about giving them the time back, so the work feels lighter, service feels kinder, the future feels a little closer. If you're just starting, we'll walk with you. We'll make it very, very simple for you to start. We will literally do everything for you. Most of our clients like that. If you've already begun, we'll help you keep going. No pressure. We'll try and keep the technical jargon to a minimum. I mean, I'm really into the jargon, so you probably don't want to speak to me first call. Just thoughtful progress at a pace that fits your people in the community you serve. So when you're ready, please book a discovery call with us. If you want to see any of the sources that we use to put this piece together, feel free. StatCan sources, we got NMP sources, U.S. Census Bureau sources. All of them are legit sources. So we don't we're not. This is all deep research by AI, so it's not going to come up with false citations. But I really, really do believe that we're standing at the precipice of a huge change in the economy for Canada, and it's going to take some very brave business owners who want to be trailblazers and say, hey, you know what? How we're thinking, guys, not with it. I'm going to get with these young people, get with some of this technology, and make things better for not only the people who work for my business now, but also the people who want to work for my business in the future once they see how we do things. So if you appreciate anything that I said here, or you just like to hear me talk and complain, you can like and subscribe. If you are looking for assistance in your AI operation, or maybe you just need some guidance on some workflow stuff, we can definitely help you out. If you're looking for lead generation, new business, you want to see new revenue come in, we'll show you some of the AI powered SEO programs that we employ to get ChatGPT to start recommending you, because ChatGPT is the next new frontier for lead generation. But of course, all of this can be achieved through scheduling a discovery call. You can call Sasha, she'll book you onto the calendar, schedule a discovery call on our website, no problem. I'm really looking forward to the next one. I'm going to try and do more videos like this, because I really do think that this conversation topic is important. Understanding how and why Canadian businesses are doing what they do, why they're not doing some things. So the mentality behind the decision making, it's so important. Like the psychological adoption of AI is something that we pay a lot of attention to. So really, if you're a Canadian business owner and you thought to yourself, well, AI is not relevant to me, and then you just watch this video and thought to yourself, well, maybe I do need to do something, don't hesitate to reach out. Looking forward to the next one. Bye now.